Welcome back to Brooklyn. It is the Coaches versus Cancer Classic here at the Barclays Center. And I'll tell you what, I know you've been waiting all day for this. Forget college football. This is what really matters. You have Duke, a top 5 team. You have Stanford that is right there on the cusp of being a top 25 team, loaded with seniors, taking on a very young Duke team. Talk to me about why Stanford has a chance. Who's going to lead the way for them?
Well, first of all, they've got a senior in Jason Randall, and I think is one of the most underrated, not just guards, but players in all of college basketball. This is a third-year starter, a guy that averaged 19 a game last year, and a guy that led what I thought was a really polished Stanford team last night in that big victory against UNLV. He's not going to be intimidated by the big stage at all. It's going to be an interesting matchup, him in that backcourt going against the Duke backcourt of Quinn Cook and Tyus Jones.
And I think it was easy for Duke last night. Temple couldn't hit threes. Jason Randall himself had 6 threes, so that should be interesting. When you think Duke, I have not heard one person talk about Duke and not talk about Jahlil Okafor. His performance, what are you expecting from him? You know this kid very well.
I do, and he's going to have a tough test tonight because even though Stanford lost Josh Eustace and Dwight Powell to the NBA draft, they've got some other big guys that are stepping up down there in the paint. I'm talking about Stephen Nastich, Reed Travis, the freshman, the McDonald's All-American. The first McDonald's got to sign with Stanford. Since the Lopez twins, they've gotten off to a good start. They're going to give Okafor quite a challenge.
All right, now comes my favorite part, is when I put you on the spot. Who do you have winning the championship of the Coaches versus Kids?
I think this will be a good game for 3/4 of it.
Just I want to pick a team.
Kind of like the Michigan State game. I do think Duke's going to pull away at the end by 8 to 10 points.
Unfortunately, you're wrong, because Stanford is going to win this game. That is my bold prediction. We're going to find out right after the break. Brian Anderson, Steve Smith, oh baby, Greg Anthony, they're all down there to call this one. It is going to be an absolute beauty. Duke, Stanford, 2 pretty much top 25 teams ready to battle it out on True TV. Get your popcorn ready, because this one's going to be a show.
Brings it home. Boy, that's great basketball by the Blue Devils. They got a thriller here in Brooklyn. It's the one we've been waiting for, and the beautiful Barclays Center, the setting here in Brooklyn, New York. You're watching the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Tonight, the championship game, the Stanford Cardinal out to a 3-0 start against the 4th-ranked Duke Blue Devils. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Brooklyn. Brian Anderson along with Greg Anthony, Steve Smith, Seth Davis is our reporter. This one has a lot to recommend here tonight. A couple of teams that are off to undefeated starts. Both teams playing for a title here tonight. Let's get it started with Stanford. They had a 29-point win over UNLV yesterday. Greg, just a beautiful brand of basketball they played last night.
As impressive a performance, really, as I've seen all season. They were just so succinct offensively. Take a look at how good their spacing is on the floor and an understanding of where they need to be in terms of where the ball is. You see the penetration there by Anthony Brown. He draws the 2 defenders, but look at Jason Randall making sure he has an outlet. Again, that spacing's there, and he's able to catch in rhythm and deliver the dagger. That's one of the things they do really well. That triangle offense Johnny Dawkins has implemented has really allowed this team to expand their repertoire offensively.
A lot of experience, Smitty, with Stanford that counters the youth, but the talent of the Duke Blue Devils. Who's got your eye tonight?
Oh, what has my eye is we talk about one of these freshmen, Tyus Jones, obviously, and Jahlil Okafor, but Justice Winslow is one of those freshmen that can do it all. And then I have to talk about Quinn Cook, the senior. So both of these guys, let's start off with, look at Cook getting a chance to score the basketball, and then watch Justice Winslow. You said it best, Greg. They don't call a lot of plays for him, but he can get on the glass, and he also can finish. Cook has knocked down some 3-point shots for the Duke, and then you see him in the open court. Winslow, one of the best in the business, even as a freshman in the open court.
This is the best game on the college basketball schedule tonight, and it's all about the players, right? But tonight, it's about the coaches as well. Coach K and his protege, the guy who put Duke on the map, Johnny Dawkins of Stanford. They match up for the first time. With more on that, here's Seth Davis.
You know, Brian, I spoke with Johnny Dawkins a little while ago back in the coach's locker room. He is very uncomfortable personally playing this game. Excited for his team, wants no part of going up against his friend, his mentor, his former college coach, just as soon not have to play this game. Tactically, I can tell you this, though. Stanford has a 5th-year senior center in Stefan Nastich, who goes 6'11", 245. He will not be guarding Jahlil Okafor at the start of this this game. Dawkins is going to stick his freshman 6'8" forward Reed Travis, give a little bit of a different look. You give up those inches, but Travis is a very strong kid, and they don't want Nostich to get into foul trouble. That's the plan going in. Let's see how long it holds up.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to watch. Reed Travis is a McDonald's All-American himself. He's the first one in the program for Dawkins since the Lopez twins back in '06, and the first Johnny Dawkins has recruited. And you wonder why you don't want to face Coach K as a former Duke assistant. How about the fact that Coach Krzyzewski is 18-1 against his former assistants? Coach K called Johnny Dawkins, he's like family to me. Here's how Dawkins will line him up tonight. Anthony Brown, Jason Randall, very talented point guard, Reed Travis, Roscoe Allen, and Stefan Nostich in the front court. For Duke, the three freshman starters, Tyus Jones, Justice Winslow, and Jaleel Okafor. And the veterans, the lone senior on scholarship, Quinn Cook and Emil Jefferson. Those two are the co-captains. Both had blowout wins yesterday, and this will be a significant test for Mike Krzyzewski and the Duke Blue Devils. Coach K in pursuit of 1,000 victories. Most assuredly will get there this season. Jaleel Okafor, we got a lot of talented freshmen on the floor. The three much publicized of the Blue Devils, and Reed Travis of the Stanford Cardinal. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're glad you're with us. College Hoops on True TV, the championship game of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. And away we go. Stanford ball in our first possession. Jeff Clark, Lamont Simpson, Guy Pagano, our three officials tonight. Stanford moves it well, very patient in that triangle offense, and right away Nostich gets off the first shot, got a good look, can't convert. And here come the Blue Devils with Tyus Jones running the point. Duke with a 20-point win yesterday over Temple. Did not shoot the ball well. They were under 40% field goal percentage yesterday, but they did force 17 turnovers. They were very impressive on the defensive end yesterday in their victory over the Owls. And it's the lefty Winslow gets off the first shot. There's Travis with the rebound.
Greg, even though Nostich is not guarding Jaleel Okafor, he's playing off Emil Jefferson. It's almost like they're saying you can front. You're like a rover, getting a chance to keep an eye on Okafor.
Roscoe Allen had it poked away, and Jefferson comes away with it. Quinn Cook up ahead. Stanford gets back on defense.
Good sign early for Stanford, that defensive transition. Anytime you have those live ball turnovers against Duke, they are really good at getting in the open floor and making you pay. Good balance there by the Cardinal.
Nostich trying to give Jefferson a shot. Shot clock down to 8. Tyus Jones dumps it inside. Okafor whips it out, and Winslow with 2 on the shot clock. Long range shot not there. And the rebound pulled down by Anthony Brown.
And you can see early on, Stanford defensively really solid. Remember, folks, they start 3 fifth-year seniors, and Anthony Brown, probably their most versatile performer, knocks down that mid-range. And so they're going to be poised. They'll be able to handle the pressure of the Blue Devils. And Winslow there with that attacking style, able to get the deuce.
A lot of interesting matchups, Greg. And Brian, I'm looking at Anthony Brown against Quinn Cook. He has a chance to show his length defensively, but also be able to get shots off with his size and length against Quinn Cook.
Well, you heard Seth Davis's report. You got to figure for Reed Travis, he's a guy that comes with a lot of headlines to Stanford, but he understands the situation. He knows Kentucky and Duke, their freshmen get a lot of the publicity. As Travis follows up but can't finish on the miss by Randall. You know, Travis wants to show his wares here tonight. Able to push his way into the starting lineup. This experienced Stanford team went to a Sweet 16 last year. Okafor delivers to Emil Jefferson. Big-to-big passing.
In that matchup, you saw that they got cross-matched, did Stanford, with Nostich on him, and then the double team comes, and there's Jason Randall with a nice little floater. But the weak side defense broke down, and a great read by Okafor on that delivery.
Well, if you're just dialing into the Stanford Cardinal, Jason Randall leads them in scoring. Averaged nearly 19 points a game last season. Already has his degree after 3 years. He's pursuing his Masters. Stanford has 3 players pursuing their Masters, as a matter of fact, in their starting lineup. And Randall is what makes it go. He had 6 3-pointers yesterday, misses on his first try tonight.
You know, I think for Jason Randall, he's going to have to understand. Good shot by Quinn Cook.
That was deep.
It was. Jason Randall's going to have to use his speed, and he's going to have more mid-range shots tonight. All his 3-point shots is going to be contested by these Duke guards.
Randall yesterday, all of his shots were from behind the arc. And he made 6 of them. Travis with the rebound and goes up strong for the putback.
How about the sprint by Travis there? That is an area where he does not lack maturity in terms of his physical makeup.
Yeah, remember the day in college basketball, freshmen come to town, and this whole process about putting some weight on, some strength. You don't see any of that with these guys, with Winslow and Okafor and Travis. Great passing, quick, bounces the ball inside, and Duke on top 9-6. They really share the ball well, the Blue Devils.
And great recognition there. Stanford had loaded on the zone, and great job by the Blue Devils of recognizing.
Tyus Jones from Okafor. Winslow will line up a 3. No. Okafor with the offensive rebound. And that freshman matchup, Nostich comes over to help, gets the block. And that Stanford bench on its feet. That's just what Seth was talking about. The matchup, the help defense by Nostich, with Travis on Okafor to start it. Here's Roscoe Allen for 3. Back iron, and Duke in transition. Tyus Jones, Cook for 3, looking for a second. Not there. Brown with the board. Here come the Cardinal. Got some substitutions coming for Duke out of whistle. Nostich.
That's a nice play by Anthony Brown to be able to go in and understand there's a shot blocker and Okafor in that size, and they kick it off to Nostich. And Greg, you know that's a tough shot.
That is a
on
tough
the baseline, and he had a soft touch, and Stephen Nostich knocked that one down.
Winslow, he passed it up first. Now he'll take it, and the lefty hits. Justice Winslow, a defensive specialist, brings a lot of offensive game as well, and he can shoot the 3.
He's just a really talented basketball player. that's really all you can say about him, and really this entire freshman class from Duke. But Stanford's also got a couple guys in Roscoe Allen and Reed Travis that come with high accolades as well.
Brown had it poked away. Tyus Jones got a piece. Okafor out front, all by himself. Okafor bringing the show to Flatbush. Jamil Okafor gives Duke a 14-8 lead. The big man running the floor.
Playing well. It's also the turnovers. 3 already here for Stanford. Been an issue. Haven't handled the pressure perfectly yet from Duke. And here you saw the penetration from Brown in the open floor. Nostich, a proven scorer. And then in the open floor off the turnover, the big fella. I'm not just a back to the basket kind of player. I can get out in the open floor and finish.
You see the hands on him, Greg?
He has got
It's like he's holding a softball.
He's got mitts.
Got a bloody lip. Teammates punching him. He's excited. It's just good to watch this college basketball. These young guys, we're getting a good look at them.
Yes.
Well, time for Planning for Success, presented by Northwestern Mutual. And we're talking about some of the keys tonight. Let's start with Stanford.
Well, we've seen a little bit of the post defense on Okafor, and in the three-point battle, I think is going to be critical for their success, Mitty.
Yeah, and before yesterday, you look at Duke, the Blue Devils, they were shooting 48%, only shot 30 yesterday, 7 for 23. They must shoot the 3 better, control the paint, and that's on the offensive end and defensive end for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, similar story for both teams inside. It's going to be a great watch tonight. Plumlee is in. Marshall Plumlee gets a foul. Just checks in. Foul on Nostich. That takes us to the timeout. 14-8. Duke leads Stanford. We're underway in the championship game in Brooklyn.
But he was the first great player to make a commitment to me and to Duke University during the time I've been there. And as a result, you know, along with Allery, Billis, and Henderson, those guys, and then Amaker joined the next year, they really set the standard that we were looking for as far as talent, academics, and character. You know, I take those 5 guys any day of the week. You know, and they believed in me before it was fashionable to believe in me.
And the thoughts of Mike Krzyzewski and Johnny Dawkins. That player put that first big stake in the ground at Duke. You know, prior to Dawkins arriving on campus, a losing record for Mike Krzyzewski at Duke. He's now in his 35th season. It changed the landscape of Duke, certainly, in college basketball as well. It's fun to see these two matching up for the first time here tonight in Brooklyn.
And it's such a great point by Coach K. The fact that he understood how important it was to get that first, you know, truly great player to commit, because now it made it okay for the guys to follow this. Jason Randall knocks down a really difficult mid-range there, but then the guys who followed, now they felt comfortable and confident committing to Duke and knowing that they could be successful at that program.
And listening to Coach K, you just love, he talked about Johnny Dawkins. We all knew his talent, but he talked about his character and then academics. And that's Matt Jones with a nice little layup.
Now, 4 national championships later, Johnny Dawkins part of that first NCAA title, 1984. And Final Four, I should say, as Randall comes back and hits the bucket. So Randall with 2 possessions of field goals. You got Nostich, who got one on the board right out of the timeout, and Stanford within 2 of Duke. And there is a whistle. Foul is going to be called on Marcus Allen. Now, there's a reason that you don't see a lot of these matchups. Coach K does not like playing his former players or assistant coaches. Johnny Dawkins spent 11 years as an assistant for Mike Krzyzewski before he took over the Stanford program in 2008, replaced Trent Johnson there.
You know, it's funny, though, when you've had as much success as Coach K has had, it's almost impossible to avoid it, because he's got such a long coaching tree and had so much great success. Nice shot there.
Matt Jones again. So a couple of buckets for Matt Jones coming off the bench for Duke. Just 3 points yesterday in 16 minutes in that win over Temple. And already with 5 on the board tonight. Plumlee and Nostich, 2 big bodies. Beautiful move in the post. Stefan Nostich.
You know, Stefan Nostich, his offense, you didn't see it a lot last year because of the talented forwards Johnny Dawkins had, but this year he is comfortable down there in this triangle offense, scoring the basketball. That was a big-time move, taking the bump and going to his nice little soft touch with his jump hook.
Okafor set to come back in. And Cook misfires on the 3 after he dropped Allen. Offensive board. Jefferson comes away with the offensive rebound. And Quinn Cook looking for instructions from the bench.
And we talked a lot about, you know, the fabulous freshmen, but Smitty, you mentioned it. Jefferson and Cook are going to be vital in determining just how far this Duke basketball team can go.
Suleiman finds Cook, kicks it out. Jones again. And another chance for Duke. Jefferson, another offensive rebound. Suleiman, around and down it goes. 3-pointer for Rashid Suleiman.
Jefferson showing right there, 2 offensive rebounds on that possession leads to that triple.
Michael Humphrey, and he is fouled. The freshman out of Phoenix in the game. Foul belongs to Cook, and a timeout on the floor. So offensive rebound, second chance points, but Stanford hanging tough against the 4th-ranked team in the country. The former Duke assistant coaches, currently Division I head coaches, Amaker, Bray, Chris Collins in his 2nd year at Northwestern in the Big Ten. Johnny Dawkins now in his 7th year. And how about Steve Wojciechowski getting the job, replacing Buzz Williams at Marquette? First year for Wojciechowski. Tough loss for Marquette today, lost to Omaha. And there is a travel out of the timeout and a turnover for Stanford. Travis walked with it. Duke basketball, they have a 6-point lead here. 10 minutes remaining in the first half of this championship game.
And then we talked about the 3-point shooting at the top, Smitty. Duke's already knocked down 4 in this first half.
Jones inside to Jefferson, and a whistle. Jefferson We'll head to the line.
And how about just the ball movement? You know, 6 assists on the 9 field goals for Duke. And how about 5 different players with at least 1 assist? So that's really about as good as it gets when you talk about ball movement and understanding how to play with one another.
Well, a reminder, you can get all your favorite team's news from across the web in one place, the TeamStream app from Bleacher Report. Download TeamStream for your iPad, your iPhone, or Android device today.
What I love about Duke offense, Greg and Brian, is the spacing. As you can see, when there's penetration, when they kick the basketball out, the defender has a long way to run, just like that on Matt Jones. He uses that momentum. He drives it and finds another guy for an easy bucket or an opportunity to get an easy bucket, or they can draw a foul.
Jefferson 1 out of 2 from the free throw line. 23-16, Duke has the lead. Up 7, Jason Randall hit 6 3-pointers yesterday. And he's looking for help. Brown for 3. Too strong, gets his own on the long rebound. Here's Jason Randall for 3. He's got it. He was lights out yesterday against UNLV. And Randall now 222 career threes. That ties Casey Jacobson, 3rd most in Stanford history. Putting together quite a career is Jason Randall, and might have a chance to be their all-time leading scorer by season's end. Suleiman finds Jones, who is on the take and finishes at the rim.
Okay, Lord, Jones is coming. Matt Jones is giving them some instant offense off that bench. Really last night as well.
Randall misfires this time. Jones has 7 points. Okafor pulls down the rebound.
Not noted for his offense, Matt Jones, but he's doing a nice job of finding the creases, spacing the floor, and then just driving the basketball and making plays.
Tyus Jones set to check back in. There's a turnover for Duke. Jones tried to squeeze one in there. And here's Jason Randall. Now Brown steps in, rattles in and out. Okafor pulls down rebound number 4. Along with his field goal. Cook finds Jefferson. Just great movement, but couldn't get it in the basket. Marcus Allen, transition, yes!
Nice move. Yeah. Early transition, good job before the defense is set, Greg. And Allen did a nice job of knifing into the hole. And if I'm Stanford, I'm looking for Okafor. Let me hurry up and get me an easy bucket before he gets set.
And that's important, I think, in this game, if you're Stanford, is to try to get some easy opportunities in transition and not deal with that set defense. And now Stanford's going to the zone here just to try to catch Duke off guard, disrupt that rhythm, because they've been playing so well here in the half court offensively.
Here's Cook for 3. And the zone buster. Cook drops another 3-pointer. That's 6 points. He's hit a couple of threes tonight, the senior.
And coming into the games, when we were wondering how much fatigue would be a factor for Duke, but early on, they seem to be in great rhythm on both ends of the floor.
Not a foul on Duke going into the timeout. Matt Jones, it'll be Stanford ball. And a good take to the basket, Marcus Allen, but it's Duke up 7 in Brooklyn.
Duke with a 7-point lead here in Brooklyn. Guys, you saw in that last possession, Stanford going to that 2-3 zone. You almost half expected Mike Krzyzewski to walk down the court and chastise Johnny Dawkins for playing some zone. But this is something that Dawkins added in last year. He brought in Tim O'Toole, who is a former assistant at Syracuse, learned the zone under Jim Boeheim. Stanford was so long across that baseline last season. It certainly worked as they went to the Sweet 16. Dawkins kept it, but of course Duke made the 3-pointer, and we'll see if he comes out of it.
You got to go to zone sometime when you have Okafor. I mean, I think Johnny's doing a good job of trying to buy some time, and you always want to have multiple defenses. And I think when you have a team like Stanford that understands with high basketball IQ you run it, but then when on the flip side, Duke shoots the 3 so well, and sometimes you might have to come out of it.
Here's Anthony Brown flying high and knocks it down. So they got another opportunity as Duke knocked it out of bounds, and Stanford capitalizes. A 5-point game. Got to give Johnny Dawkins a lot of credit too. You know, he's been around a long time, a great player, as we mentioned. Was under the arm, under the wing of Mike Krzyzewski. Not only did he break out the zone last year, but also went to the triangle offense last season. and it was very effective. Put in a brand new offense last year. Seen a little bit of it here tonight, but a team that went to the Sweet 16 last year. Big upset of Kansas in the tournament last season.
And also beat a very good New Mexico team last season as well. And keep in mind also, Johnny Dawkins not going to get the caliber of talent in terms of recruiting at Stanford that maybe Mike Krzyzewski's going to get at Duke. So he's going to have to be a little bit more creative in terms of his approach to playing the game.
Okafor cannot hit, and that's going to be out of bounds on Duke. Great effort by Roscoe Allen. And Stanford will have the ball here, down 5.
Have a terrific feed there in terms of that post delivery, just unable to get that one to go down, and terrific hustle by Roscoe Allen.
Nostich going right at Okafor. He turns him around. Okafor so far just 1 out of 4, just 2 points. Does have 4 rebounds. Well, tough. Tyus Jones cuts it off and is hammered by Allen. Sends him into the first row.
Tyus Jones has been quiet here early on, but a great read there on that corner trap of just shooting the gap to get that steal and forcing the foul.
Tyus Jones has some kind of motor offensively and defensively. He's constantly in the passing lanes. He does a great job on the defensive end, stirring it up.
Roscoe Allen, that's huge. He picks up his second foul for Stanford. Johnny's going deeper and deeper into his bench. And you have Dorian Pickens coming out and playing for Stanford right now in place of Roscoe Allen.
Yeah, Stanford not a team that relies heavily on their bench as Tyus Jones misses offensive board. Winslow strong and 1 for Justice Winslow.
You're talking about
That's a grown man
rebound. Look at the space he creates. And you can see the shot by Tyus Jones, but if you get an eye, look at Winslow. He comes in, covers a lot of ground, but goes up and grabs that one, but then the strength to play through contact and score.
And the big concerns you always have when you go zone. One, can you take away the three-point shot? And then secondly, it also makes you susceptible to being hurt on that offensive glass. So let's keep an eye on how long Johnny Dawkins decides to stay with this zone.
Unable to convert on the 3-point chance. Duke up 7 here. Nostich working in the paint, a little turnaround hook, no good. And that'll be Duke basketball. Got a foul on Stanford. That's going to be on Travis. It's his second foul, the freshman, with 5:35 remaining in this first half. And an interesting move call here for Johnny Dawkins.
Yeah, but the problem, Brian, is he and Allen both being freshmen, you probably don't feel as confident trusting them to avoid picking up that third, but it's probably going to keep you, as Tyus Jones gets to travel, they're probably going to keep them in this zone a little longer than maybe Coach Dawkins would prefer.
Duke will put the pressure on here, and Humphrey is coming in. So Travis will take a seat, one freshman for the other. Most of the scoring for Stanford, it's been that way the last couple of years for the Cardinal, but it comes from their starters. As Anthony Brown checks back in. Last year, 86% of their offense came from their starting 5. This year, it's close to 90%. We saw a lot of bench play yesterday, but that was in a 29-point blowout of UNLV. They'll be pressed tonight.
Yeah, this next 5 minutes is going to be really important for Stanford.
Randall finds Humphrey, and the tip is not there. And here come the Blue Devils. Quinn Cook out in front, and he sets up Winslow. Great defense coming back. Dorian Pickens gets the block and moving well in defensive transition.
Transition defense was nice for Stanford. Good job by Pickens. And I'm not sure if Winslow threw that one out of bounds.
Been fortunate on that one. Yeah, I was making the point about how important this next 7-point game. You got 5 minutes. You've got a couple guys that you rely on the bench, and you're also going to have to extend the minutes of Randall and Brown in terms of carrying the load offensively. So this is going to be really important how they finish this half.
You got the 2 freshmen from Phoenix on the floor for Stanford, Humphrey and Pickens. Shot clock at 10. Behind the back goes Cook. Dish, no. Humphrey's right there. Turnover for Duke.
I think Cook has to shoot that one. He got into that lane
Cook poked it away, and that'll be a foul on Jason Randall.
Yeah, how about the quick hands?
Has a turnover, Greg, and gets it right back.
Gets it right back. Senior on senior on that possession.
I love that matchup. And he just picked his pocket just as he lifted his head up, Cook. And he'll head to the free throw line. 1-1 here. Rashid Suleiman back in for Duke. Well, the NBA on TNT returns on Thursday, December 4th, the Cavs and the Knicks. And then following that, it'll be the Pelicans and the Warriors. Steve Kerr and the Warriors. Action begins 8 p.m. Eastern, only on TNT. So Cook makes both. Duke with a 32-23 lead. Stanford being shut out the last 2.5. Brown goes to the hole, and he's fouled. Winslow was there to make sure the basket didn't go. And Anthony Brown, such a big piece to the Stanford team. He'll shoot free throws. And the body of Jefferson for the foul.
You just couldn't tell if he was outside of that restricted zone, but that was a big break there for Stanford. Their first opportunity in this first half to get to the free throw line.
I think he was in there because the referee was pointing to the Duke bench saying restricted area.
Coach K wants to know.
Yeah, Coach K wants to know for sure.
Still amazing. The intensity has not waned at all. You think about doing this for 35 years, man, at the level he's done it at, and the passion and love he still has for the game. You got to take your hat off to Coach K.
So to add to that, Greg, a lot of his summer is being taken away with USA basketball, and to be able to win gold medals with that group and then come off and have this type of team with the Duke Blue Devils, a lot of energy and a lot going in for Coach K, and he's still getting it done.
Foul on Michael Humphrey. He fouled out yesterday. A couple of points for the freshman Humphrey. That'll put Winslow to the line. And in comes Marshall Plumlee for Jaleel Okafor with 4:03 remaining in the first half. Championship game of this Coaches versus Cancer Classic. And Winslow cannot add to the lead, but an offensive rebound. Jefferson kept it alive. Winslow kicked it to Suleiman. Another chance for Duke. Winslow finds Cook for three. Yes! Quinn Cook burying the threes early for the Blue Devils.
And we talked about it. Now, Stanford doesn't have that size and athleticism in on the front line, struggling to control that defensive backboard, allowing Duke to create a little bit of separation here.
Here's Brown for three, trying to answer, cannot. And that's going to be out of bounds on Cook and Duke and Stanford basketball. 3.5 left in the first half. Quinn Cook is at 3 3-pointers. He's got 11 points. You're watching the Coaches versus Cancer Classic presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Welcome back to the Barclays Center for the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. 3:31 left. Duke has a nice 10-point lead coming up on the Bleacher Report halftime show. We're going to break down the stars of this, and we got a top 25 upset. Anderson and the boys with the call. This one's starting to look good, guys.
No doubt. I don't think Jason King was all in right there. He had his arms crossed, and he wasn't buying what Adam was selling right there. I don't think. Look at him. Such a writer, right? Yeah. Disgruntled scribe.
His arms folded tight.
Nostich. And Nostich gets one to go. He's missed a couple of times on that block, but finally drops this one. Nostich has 8 points. And here's Stanford. Down 7 now. Duke with the ball. 3:10 remaining in the first half. Looking forward to our halftime report. Our guys from Bleacher Report are with us this weekend. Good to have them. Cook, he's been hot. He's at 3 already. Can't connect on that one. And another second chance opportunity for Duke. Suleiman looking for Jefferson up and under. No, Humphrey had the rebound but lost it out of bounds.
And that's really just not having the strength from Humphrey to be able to corral that one, or to be able to keep guys off that offensive glass. And Duke right now here the last few minutes has made a huge impact on that offensive glass.
9 offensive rebounds for the Blue Devils. Okafor is back in. Okafor's had a slow first half, much like yesterday, and the turnaround hook not there. Jefferson's been a beast on the offensive glass.
Well, they're attacking Humphrey again. probably not who they would expect to be playing these minutes, but because of the foul trouble, he has been forced into duty, and the Blue Devils taking advantage.
And you talk about Jefferson and also Winslow. They've just been a load for those guys. And unfortunately for Johnny Dawkins, Roscoe Allen, and also Reed Travis on the bench. That's some size for him to be able to box out some of these big guys.
Last night in the first half, Okafor missed 10 shots. He ended up with 16 points, but it is a very good reminder as Jefferson hits the first free throw. And while Okafor draws a lot of the spotlight, and that's tough to do at Duke, they got a lot of weapons. They can beat you in a lot of ways.
And the other thing that happens, though, because of the attention he draws, that's what creates a lot of other opportunities for guys on the floor. You're going to see better driving angles. If you're Justice Winslow, you're going to get more three-point opportunities if you're Cook and Jones because of the attention he commands out on the floor.
Duke's going to go small here as Emil Jefferson will sit. 2.5 remaining. Maybe the guy who's benefiting the most with Okafor is Jefferson. He's able to slide over into the 4 spot. Okafor mans the 5, and that's freed him up quite a bit. Allen rises up and misses, and it's Suleiman with the rebound. 1 and done for the Cardinal. And Duke a chance to go up 12, maybe 13 here as we wind it down in the first half. The 3 guards out there with Jones and Cook, Suleiman. Winslow can step out and shoot it as well. Okafor draws the double. Somebody's open. Okafor finally finds Winslow. He's on the attack. And he just runs over Nostic, but that's going to be a block on Stefan Nostic. Free throws for Winslow.
Tough one. I thought Nostic was there. Let's take a look at that one again. You know what? He did slide a little bit to the right there. Yeah, that's a good call.
That's a good look there.
It is.
Winslow hits the first. Struggled from the line tonight. And an 11-point lead for Duke. Say the next generation of performance competition is on True TV. It's called Fake Off. All new Mondays, 10/9 Central, only on True TV. Under 2 minutes to go here. Duke up 12 as Winslow hits them both. And a trap in the corner. Tough spot for Brown. And bailed out with a whistle.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That was exactly how you would draw it up in terms of that full court trap in the corner. They had the outlets cut off, just a little overzealous there with the double team.
Winslow with the foul, and Duke will back it up. Key stretch here for Stanford. Stanford down 12. Okafor hasn't done much here tonight. Only 2 points. He does have 5 rebounds. Here's Humphrey. And he can't convert. He's had a couple looks in there. Both freshmen go to the floor. And that'll be a held ball. Possession arrow belongs to Duke.
That's just good play on both ends.
Yeah, it was.
Humphreys and Winslow, just 2 guys going after it. And I'm with you, Greg. You got to, possession. I love to see this jump ball right here because now ball goes to Duke, and obviously it goes back and forth. But I just love to see right now to have a jump ball in college. And we're not going to get that change.
No,
I don't think
so, unfortunately.
Okafor fires one to T. Jones. They whip it around. How about the ball movement by Duke? Winslow cannot hit. Jason Randall. Tyus Jones on him. Randall trying to get to the bucket. Up and over Okafor. No, Nostic there with the offensive rebound. And a new shot clock. Little jumper by Nostic. And Okafor pulls it away. Stanford needed that. They had a look at it.
Yeah, and a second shot. Nostic capable, but really better from the free throw line out with his mid-range. Much more difficult shot on that baseline.
So a timeout, Mike Krzyzewski. He'll set one up with 50 and change remaining here. Duke up 12. Now Quinn Cook off to a terrific start. Yesterday Cook went for 17 points. He had 3 3-pointers, and Greg tonight 11 points. He's already hit 3 3-pointers.
And then how about how efficient he's been really all season long. Just you know, they've gone to the two-point guard backcourt with he and Jones, and I tell you what, he has really thrived as a senior, just gotten better every year here at Duke, and really just been impressed with his performance in the early part of the season.
Entering this game, Greg, averaging close to 17 points, but I'm more impressed. He's knocked down 3 threes in all of the games. Yeah. And he has another combination of 3 threes in this game. I mean, he is shooting the basketball, known more for his defense. He's worked on his shot, and he's given them some offense that's really helped them.
6'2" senior, co-captain along with Emil Jefferson, Quinn Cook. Outstanding three-point shooter, averaged over 11 points and 4 assists last year, much bigger part, and he plays very well with Tyus Jones, and those two create so many matchup problems. Not just offensively either. Terrific defense from those two individuals. Let's see what Coach K drew up here, and Winslow going to the rack and is fouled. He's a lefty, remember, and that's his favorite side to come in from, and he'll go back to the free throw line.
And really just been impressed with Duke's recognition of the defense. That helps when you got 2 point guards out there, but they have really done a terrific job with the interior passing against that zone as well, Smitty.
Winslow now 2 for 5 from the free throw line. Jefferson will pick up Okafor. Going to get a cheap foul on Okafor. And 1 out of 2 for Justice Winslow. Roscoe Allen is back in. Part of the story in some of the foul trouble for Stanford. Stanford has missed 10 of their last 11 shots. Allen with a couple of fouls. Reed Travis with 2 fouls. And that's hampered what Johnny Dawkins wants to do here against Duke.
Yeah, and we talked about at the top, the three-point shooting would be huge in this game. Duke's made 6, only 1 for Stanford here in the first half.
About a second and a half separating the game clock from the shot clock. Jason Randall trying to take it down as far as he can. And Randall with shot clock down to 7. Here's Brown. And a little floater. Can't get it to go. Nostich in there to put it back. He's got time. Suleiman at the horn. No. Suleiman gave it a good look. And that's how the first half ends, with Duke up 11 despite just 2 points on 1 of 5 shooting from Jahlil Okafor. So back to the drawing board. The head coach and his top pupil, Coach K, and Johnny Dawkins. Let's check in with Seth. He's with Jeff Capel.
Jeff, there's a big emphasis with Duke coming into the season about playing better defense. It's a pretty good team you held to 29 points. I take it you're pleased?
Well, we are. You know, our defense has been really good. We tried to pressure the basketball to take them out of their triangle offense, and I think it's been effective.
Also a lot of talk, obviously, about the freshmen, but what does it do for this team to have a senior like Quinn Cook not only playing this well, but embracing his role as a leader?
Well, both Quinn and Emil have been terrific, especially tonight. You know, Quinn has been vocal, Emil has been vocal. They both had a lot of energy and been very active. We need them to continue that second half.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Seth. Quinn Cook, 11 points. Emil Jefferson with 7 points, 5 rebounds, 3 on the offensive end. Duke up 11. Championship game of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Halftime coming up. Our guys from Bleacher Report after this. Welcome back. The Coaches versus Cancer Classic, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Duke and Stanford. And take a look at the first half stats. Remember, Stanford in their 29-point win over UNLV yesterday made 14 three-pointers. They are 1 for 7 here tonight. Duke with an 11-point lead. Johnny Dawkins and the Stanford Cardinal trying to find some answers a moment ago. Seth Davis caught up with the Cardinal head coach.
Johnny, obviously a hard time scoring the ball in the first half, only 29 points. You got anything up your sleeve here for the second half?
Well, we just have to be more poised offensively. They're doing a good job of getting up the line, doing a good job of pressure. We just need to be poised, slow down. The guys are excited to play. Sometimes that can lead to us playing a little too fast.
They have 11 offensive rebounds, and you've only shot 2 free throws. Is it a concern that you're not playing enough to your size?
Well, absolutely. We've settled for some jump shots. We've not gone inside as much as we would like. Those are things we hope to do this half.
All right, good luck in the second half, Johnny. Thank you.
And our thanks to Johnny Dawkins, his first matchup against his former coach, Mike Krzyzewski. And guys, just looking at the way the second half goes, I agree with Jason King. This is going to be a key stretch here, this first few minutes for Stanford, down 11 coming out of the halftime break.
And for Stanford, Johnny talked about it, and Seth asked the question. They got to get to that free throw line. Only 2 attempts, and I think also for the coming off the bench, some productivity, only 2 points. That really hurt Stanford in the first half.
Yeah, and also that three-point shooting. No, that's a great equalizer, and Duke was dominant in that category. They made 6 more than did Stanford, and that's a big part offensively of what Stanford wants to do. So that's got to change as well.
Foul on Emil Jefferson holding Travis, who got himself into foul trouble in that first half. A key matchup that Seth pointed out before the broadcast tonight. The freshman Travis. And it'll be Stanford ball. And the Cardinal off to a 3-0 start this year after a Sweet 16 appearance last year. Nostic cannot connect, and here come the Blue Devils. And Greg, you figure Okafor, Duke's going to want to try to get him involved here in the second half.
Yeah, that's one of the luxuries, to play that well without him really being a factor offensively in terms of scoring. And now you would think that they're going to try to make him a focal point here in the second.
Here's T. Jones, had an air ball. Nostic collects the poor shot by Tyus Jones. Randall, got to get him going as well. Randall had a good start to the game, 9 points. Not much going on for him in the back half of the first half. Roscoe Allen goes strong to the hole. So a little bit of foul trouble for Allen in the first half as well. That's point production, the guy that they're going to need here, Stanford. 9-point game, Duke with the basketball. And there's a whistle on Brown.
I think they're going to get Nostic
yeah, you're right. I beg your pardon.
On the post defense, on the bump off of Okafor.
They even it up. They got the little bump at the start of the half for Okafor and Nostic both. And then Okafor going at it a little bit.
Winslow able to get it out of the corner. Quinn Cook, 11 points in the first half, 3 threes. Boy, look at Duke move the ball. Winslow dunks it into Jefferson, easy as it gets off the window.
And the first time Jefferson caught it at the free throw, he didn't really even look at the basket. Stanford's not even guarding him when he catches it that deep, and smart play by him to be aggressive and get to the rim.
Wow, another touch foul here.
And when you go against that zone, anytime you set the ball goes there, it's going to flatten out the zone, and good recognition by Duke to make sure they make Stanford pay for not honoring Jefferson in the paint.
I guarantee you, Greg, he wasn't trying to hit that off the glass.
It's probably why they weren't guarding, but hey, it still counts.
It did. A good job of getting it in the paint, and Nostic and Okafor, good move by Nostic. Good hand, quick hands by Winslow. Got to be strong with it in down there.
And Winslow for 3 now. So defense to offense. Justice Winslow. And a full-court pressure here for Duke. Brown trying to shake Cook. Just like that, Duke up 14 points.
Much improved from what we saw last night from Duke in terms of their ability to shoot that ball.
Good answer. Anthony Brown. Stanford needed that one.
Great poise for him to use his size against Cook. You see the pressure, but all you have to do is get a little separation and the length to elevate and shoot your jump shot. Beautiful by Anthony Brown.
Brown has 8 points. Ball's in Winslow's hands a lot. He's been so impressive. He finds Cook, steps in, knocks it down. Quinn Cook is feeling it tonight. 13 points.
All the young kids out here watching this game, Greg and Brian, the best play in basketball, in my opinion, is the pump fake. Use that pump fake and being able to clear yourself some room and get to another spot to take a quality shots. A lot of these young kids like to step back. I think you got to go forward a lot of times to get a better shot.
Up and over the backboard. And Brown cannot connect on the 3.
Let's watch this play. You can see Quinn Cook has knocked down some shots. He pump fake and you get a step in, knock it down, work on that mid-range game. Don't always settle for threes, all these young guys now. Love that line, Greg. I wish they'd just erase that line until you have to play games.
Take it away, right? Changes the game. That's one thing about Duke, all these great freshmen, the way they play together, though. They've jumped into this system. They move the ball so well. That's what was so impressive in their win against Michigan State.
Well, a lot of it has to do with Coach K. I mean, because he is going to demand that you play the game the right way, play it unselfishly, and these young players have bought in.
Oh, a little teardrop from Randall. Pretty move by the Stanford point guard.
What I loved about that move, Greg, was you don't have to always play fast as a point guard. You can see that senior leadership in Chasing Randall and understanding, been in so many games. Tyus Jones was anticipating and taking a charge, just slowed up his pace and knocked down a nice little floater.
Randall keeps climbing the list, all-time scoring for Stanford. And Nostich pulls down the board on the miss by Cook. Randall passed Brevin Knight with that basket a moment ago. 4th place by himself on the all-time scoring list. Nostich, oh my goodness, he lost the handle, then has it blocked. Well, that was ugly for Stanford, and now Duke trying for an exclamation point. They get it. Quinn Cook buries the 3.
And that's a huge 5-point swing there. You get the bunny for Nostich. He's unable to convert, and then transition offense by Duke, and Tyus Jones finds Cook in the corner for the triple.
Well, it was an 11-point Duke lead at the half, and the first 5 minutes not going Stanford's way. Duke has opened it up to a 15-point advantage. The miss at point blank turns into a 3-pointer by Cook. Let's take a look at some of the Stanford basketball notable alumni. Todd Lichty is their all-time points leader. That is who Jason Randall is in pursuit of. You got Brevin Knight. Randall just passed him. You got the Collins twins and the Lopez twins. They've had a terrific basketball history. And you see Jason Randall now 4th place by himself. So this year, guys, Randall got a great chance to be the all-time 3-point king in Stanford basketball history. And he's going to have to average 22, 23 plus per game to catch Todd Lichty this year. So it's possible. And they're going to need every bit of that in the second half if they're going to fight their way back from 15 down against Duke.
And it's going to have to start offensively. The margin of error very small for this Stanford team there. They get the offensive foul on Randall. Great job of help defense there by Duke.
Stanford in the danger zone here. Duke looking sharp tonight. 20-point win last night, and they're up 15 with the ball when we come back. Stanford and Duke. Duke has a 15-point lead with the ball. And approaching the 15-minute mark. Talking about that first 5 minutes for Stanford of the second half. Duke has gone +4. And a hot one for Okafor to handle. Okafor's been very quiet tonight. Haven't needed him much. Just 2 points. That's going to be a foul. And they're going to get Winslow on the foul.
Well, Smitty just got a text from a good friend of ours.
Brevin Knight, a great start. Stanford Cardinal guard.
What's he calling for?
He said a big-time comeback. Watch the pressure release and backdoors by the Cardinals. I played with Brevin. Unbelievable point guard, and he's at the end of my career. He used to get on me running the court. I couldn't run anymore.
Yeah. what a leader he is, right? Brevin Knight, love that guy.
One of the best.
Jason Randall, a high arcing 3 drop. So Randall gives Stanford a big one.
That's for you, Brevin.
That's right. That was a Brevin Knight 3-pointer right there. They might need Brevin Knight tonight. As Cook looking for the answer. Another offensive board by Jefferson. That's his 4th of the night. And Winslow giving it up to Okafor. Backing out, weapons everywhere. And another offensive board. Winslow is hammered by Roscoe Allen.
And we talked about it. Ever since they got in foul trouble midway through that first quarter, they have not been able to control that defensive backboard. And here, Jason Randall does not need a lot of space to get off that jump shot.
When you talk about, look at the Duke Blue Devils. Obviously, Jahlil Okafor, but Emil Jefferson and Justice Winslow, they just carve out so much room on that offensive glass, and they spread you out because of 3-point shooters, and then you got to go try to box out these 3 guys who are attacking the glass.
Yeah, and that's really, all the hype coming in for Jahlil and obviously Tyus, but really what Jefferson and also Winslow give them from a toughness standpoint. They make them a good offensive rebounding team. They're guys that create extra possessions for you because of the effort and the energy, and then that complements the skill of this Duke team, and one reason why a lot of people like them, not only get to the Final Four, but have a chance to win it all.
Well, Nostich runs into a wall, and the whistle, I believe they're going to get Winslow. Is that correct? No, I beg your pardon. That's going to be on Okafor.
I think that's on Okafor.
But boy,
there's not much space in there for Nostich.
A lot of big bodies banging down low.
Banging.
I guess they got him with the hip a little bit, Smitty. Is that what they're saying?
That was a break for Stanford as Nostich the first free throw. And coming in for Stanford, Christian Sanders, out of his first game yesterday, he's been out with a hand injury. 1 out of 2 for Nostich. In a spot where Stanford needs all they can get. So Duke up 12 with the ball. 13:43 remaining in regulation. Championship game of this Coaches versus Cancer Classic. And Duke has been very impressive. Suleiman is in. He finds Cook. Okafor on Nostich. Spins, no, and here comes Stanford. See if they can get something in transition. Duke gets back well. Nostich passed it up. Now Brown for 3. That's going to miss badly. And an air ball for Anthony Brown.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You know, it's as good as Duke has looked. You know, 12 points with a team like Stanford that can shoot the 3. It's not out of the realm for them to get back in it, but again, they're going to have to get stops and then also secure that defensive backdoor because Duke is starting to own them in the paint.
Stanford just 2 for 10 from behind the arc tonight. Remember, they made 14 last night. Suleiman knifing through, but he turns it over. Here comes Jason Randall. Matches up with it. Cook, and Winslow wipes it clean. There was a foul. Winslow made sure it wasn't an and one.
That was a smart play by Winslow. Definitely a clean block because that has a chance to maybe get in. How about Winslow jumps over Jason Randall there?
I mean, that's just a tremendous athlete. You give Jason Randall a lot of credit. Getting out of the way, making sure.
Randall is 6'2", and Winslow went right over him. As he knocks the free throw down, does Randall. A chance to make it a 10-point game. Matt Jones is in for Duke. A reminder that True TV will make you believe the unbelievable. It's called the Carbonaro Effect. All new Thursday, 10/9 Central on the new True TV. A couple of free throws for Jason Randall, and it's a 10-point Duke lead. Blue Devils with the ball. There's a lot to like with Duke, a lot to recommend, but Justice Winslow has been eye-popping good in the early part of the schedule. And he goes to the hole on the attack to Nostich, and free throws coming up. He does that well as well. He gets to the line quite a bit.
Well, one of the things about a guy like Winslow, he allows your chemistry to be good because he's not a ball-dominant player. When he makes a decision with it, it's quick, it's decisive, and then his effort. You know, he's going to get it scoring from offensive rebounds, steals, and you can see he's been consistent and pretty efficient as well. And boy, what a nice compliment to what the Blue Devils have on that roster.
Well, that's the versatility of Winslow, and also for Coach K. He has Winslow at the power forward position right now. And him and Okafor gives him some quickness, and then you still have 3 shooters and 3 wing guys in Matt Jones and Suleiman and Quinn Cook out there. And I think for Stanford right now is some kind of way is you got to find a way to get some penetration off the dribble, but set some screens and get open. This overplay, somebody has to backdoor. You can see Johnny Dawkins, good job of calling that timeout because they were in trouble.
Well, the 2 missed free throws by Winslow keeps the door open. Johnny Dawkins and the Cardinal will keep the possession, trying to get it to a single-digit deficit.
Which would say a lot because really in a game where you feel like, it feels like Duke's up 20. You know, it feels like they really dominated this game, but you look up, it's a 10-point game. You've got possession here. Really good time out there because that would have been a turnover or a steal and an easy basket for Quinn Cook there. So this is a big possession here to just try to make Duke feel you.
Well, a Sweet 16 last year, and Stanford, and especially Jason Randall, knowing that's a building block. Here's what he had to say earlier in the week about that.
I believe that our run last year definitely helped our momentum coming into this season, and you know, for years to come for this program. You know, it was a long time coming. I think 8 years, and a lot of hard work was put into that last season, and to be able to accomplish the things that we did was amazing.
That's just beautiful to get a chance to, play in the NCAA tournament. And they did an excellent job getting to that Sweet 16. Look at this physical play. That could have cut it to into single digits. And you said it best, Greg. Look at this second half. Stanford's actually outplayed Duke far as scoring 12-11, Stanford, but they got to find a way to cut into this lead.
Duke's lead swelled to 15. And Stanford has been able to wrestle it back. A number of missed free throws for the Blue Devils, specifically by Winslow. The last possession. Suleiman rises up over Travis, and it's in and out. Here comes Stanford, a chance once again to get it to single digits. Jason Randall for three, and off the front iron. He had a good look at it. Cook has Brown on the move. Nostich there to clean up the board. Good defense by Brown. Didn't give him anywhere to go.
It was in the last few minutes. Duke starting to get a little sloppy offensively. The ball movement not quite as good as we had seen earlier in the game.
Keep in mind for the Duke Blue Devils, this is game 5 in 9 days to start the season. Randall, the little floater. Jason Randall starting to have an impact here in the second half. And it's an 8-point Duke lead now.
I think you got to stabilize this team and get Okafor a touch, Greg, some kind of way. I know they're playing this zone, but you got to stabilize this Stanford team and get him a touch inside out, some kind of way.
Randall has 18 points. Cook passes up the three. Suleiman kicks it to Winslow, looking for Okafor. It almost went in, a deflection.
That almost went in, and I tell you what, the zone they've made some adjustments within the zone. They are playing a lot more effectively defensively here in the second half, are the Cardinal.
Brown trying to turn the corner. Good defense by Jones. And a little mid-range from Nostich won't go. It's going to be a challenge here for Stanford as far as their depth goes. This is not a team that goes deep on their bench. Duke in very good shape, but in a little bit of trouble here. A little mini run by Johnny Dawkins and the Cardinal. And Duke by 8, 9:56 remaining in regulation of this championship game. You're watching the Coaches versus Cancer Classic presented by Northwestern Mutual. Brooklyn, New York, and the sparkling Barclays Center. Very quiet night from Okafor on the points column. He does have 6 rebounds, but just 1 made field goal. Duke getting a lot of production elsewhere. Winslow has 14. Quinn Cook with 16 tonight. Duke up 8 with the ball here. Under 10 minutes to go in regulation.
And Smitty, this is really a big possession for Duke right here, because if you get a stop, if you're Stanford and you're able to score, it's a break.
Stanford a bit winded. Nostich sits. We take a timeout in Brooklyn. Swindler on an 8-1 run. Duke has not made a field goal in the last 6 minutes and change here. First half, it was an 11-point Duke lead. Stanford's outscored them by 3 here in the second half. Duke actually had a 15-point lead before this 8-1 run began. Duke ball, Okafor established inside. That's been a long time coming tonight for the Blue Devils. Just 4 points for Okafor.
Big basket for Duke and for Okafor as well, who's struggled the last couple games here with his efficiency on the offensive end.
There's Travis inside on Okafor. A big swat and a miss, but he comes away with the rebound. Stanford a little small right now without Nostich. Plenty of mismatches inside. The 2 freshmen, Travis and Okafor matching up. And Okafor wide open on the look from Cook. Back-to-back possessions in the big man with buckets.
And how about the seal there on that baseline with the post, and a beautiful delivery by Cook for the finish.
On the floor it goes. Foul's going to be on Matt Jones. Last 2 possessions here with Okafor, GA.
Yeah, just take a look at the beautiful find there. Right in rhythm, able to go up strong. You talked about it, BA, not having the size out there on the weak side, and then that nice seal. And you see how there's nobody coming from the weak side because Stanford's going small. So That weak side rotation not there to contest.
Johnny Dawkins trying to get as much time for Nostich to catch his breath, but he's back in. Randall hits the free throw. And Nostich tonight, 11 points, has 10 rebounds. But you could tell he was winded. Dawkins was looking for the right spot to get him a breather. And we'll see how much he can go here. The final 8 minutes.
You know, Greg, for Johnny Dawkins, he hadn't had a chance to play Roscoe Allen, Nostich, and also Travis together. You know, they've been foul trouble. They've been winded. If he can get a chance to get this game where he can get a chance to play those three together, because they have some size and some talent to be able to match this physical play by Okafor down there, who's creating a lot of space for Duke, but Duke has to give him the ball and punch it into him.
Extended playing time for Christian Sanders here tonight. Okafor and Nostich. Double team comes. Okafor spins out of it. No, Nostich the board. Up the floor. Here comes Brown on the take. Brown can't get the bounce. And Okafor with the rebound.
Yeah, Winslow did just enough to make Brown have to adjust on that shot to affect it from going in.
Almost a travel there by Jones. And Matt Jones in the corner hits a three. A big one for Duke.
And how big has Matt Jones been here tonight? I think he's in double figures now off the bench. Huge boon for the Blue Devils.
10 points for Matt Jones. A couple of three-pointers. Almost a steal there. So Matt Jones hiding out in the corner. Weapons everywhere for the Blue Devils. He hits a big three. And Duke up 58-45 in Brooklyn. Stanford ball here, down 13. Randall. And Travis is there, denied. Winslow blocks it. Travis comes away with it. Shot clock now at 10. Stanford in desperate need of a bucket here with 7 minutes left. Nostich just can't get it to go. Okafor is too much for him tonight.
How about how strong Winslow? That's down low. I mean, you cannot move that young man.
Winslow on Nostich. Here's Cook. Cook's had a hot shooting night. Tyus Jones, no, and Nostich with the rebound. He's been big on the boards tonight. Nostich with 13 rebounds in this game. He's got a double-double along with 11 points. Randall's been their top scorer for Stanford. He has 20. And he throws that one away. Matt Jones, and Matt Jones stepped on the side.
Winslow, everything he's been doing, goes up to contest, comes back, and then you can see gets off this floor really quick, and then he had a huge box out against Travis off of one possession, secured the rebound. But I think the key has been Matt Jones. He's done a nice job off the bench for Duke.
So another steal, back-to-back turnovers for Randall. Okafor there to clean it up. And Duke back to a 15-point lead. That matches their largest of the night. And it's going to be another turnover. 3 straight possessions with Stanford turnovers.
And a lot of it is fatigue, too. I mean, Duke's just been so relentless defensively. They continue to extend that pressure, and really they've been able to disrupt that triangle that Johnny Dawkins likes to get into with his group.
Winslow will pass it up, and Cook content to run a little clock here. Under 6 minutes to go. Championship game of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Okafor deep inside and off the glass. No, Winslow, just for the fun of it, won't count, but it was pretty. And Okafor will head to the free throw line. Man, this guy can fly, Justice Winslow.
You know you're good when we're showing a replay and it doesn't count.
Yeah. But that motor that he has been just really impressive.
Fourth foul on Stefan Nostich. And that lack of depth for Stanford really shows up, and it's going to show up for a lot of teams against Duke. But they look winded. Okafor drops the free throw. Jamil has 9 points. Brown's going to take a seat. Emil Jefferson ready to check in. Well, Duke had a big win on Tuesday in Indianapolis against Michigan State. Had a 10-point win against the Spartans. And other than Smitty's feelings being hurt, where are you at, GA, with Seth Davis saying this might be the toughest matchup of the year for Duke in Stanford? No offense, Smitty, with Michigan State.
You mean thus far?
Thus far.
I think they're both pretty comparable. You know, Michigan State obviously dealing with some injuries, but Duke, right now for me, Duke, and they're going to get better, but I think they're ahead of a lot of teams in terms of where they are at this stage of the season. They are a really cohesive unit. And Stanford's defended well today.
Nothing against Stanford, and my feelings hurt not at all, Brian.
I don't know, you're giving me the stink eye over there.
Seth Davis loves to try to go at my Spartans. That's okay. Wait for the ride home after this game. But I like what Stanford has done. They've gotten some foul trouble. And, you know, we have to give credit to Duke. They played good basketball, and you can see right now, and there's still a lot of basketball left. Even though they're down 16, they need to hit a couple threes just to maybe cut it down to 10 or 11, just to give Duke something to think about.
Largest lead of the night for Coach K. Okafor sat briefly. He's back in. He has scored 7 of Duke's last 10 points. So Jefferson to the bench. 1-1 here for Nostich, who's playing with 4 fouls. And back in comes Marcus Allen. Roscoe Allen on the bench. One of 3 Allens for the Stanford Cardinal. Marcus' twin brother Malcolm is coming back from an injury. Hasn't played yet this season.
Malcolm just got cleared for contact in practice the day they arrived here in Brooklyn. So had that wrist injury, and will probably be in that rotation by the time conference play rolls around.
Okafor, and Nostich hits the deck in a block. Nostich trying to get one on Okafor, and Jeff Clark would have none of it, and that's going to be the 5th foul for Stephen Nostich. Sniper. And Nostich is fouled out.
Yeah, he tried to time that spin there. He saw that they were not having it on that.
Nostich will exit with 13.
4 fouls, and there's a lot of time left.
And also your team's got to understand you have 4, and that's a time where you want to dig down, maybe come double, and not give Okafor an opportunity to attack him one-on-one.
The Duke band having a little fun at Nostich's expense. Okafor hits the free throw. Much better second half here for Okafor. Struggled in the first half. Got his rebound. Certainly changed the flow offensively and commanded a lot of attention. But Okafor now with 10 points, 10 rebounds. And 2 for 3 from the line. Able to get his own miss. Well, the offensive rebounds stacking up for Duke against Stanford tonight. Under 5 minutes to go. Duke trying to go to 5-0, and Marcus Allen fouls Tyus Jones. And free throws coming up here in the bonus.
You see Cartwright and Allen trying to put some pressure on the Duke guards. And now, if you knock down these free throws, Duke has to release a lot of that pressure and all that from Cartwright and Allen. And you can see Tyus Jones hadn't shot the basketball well, Greg, but I like what I'm seeing in Tyus Jones.
First points of the night for Tyus Jones. Very balanced scoring, 4 in double figures. Cook leads away with 16. Quinn Cook's hit 4 3-pointers tonight, and Jones hits both free throws. Robert Cartwright running the point. And Cartwright, and he's fouled. So Jones, Cartwright hanging in the air, and Jones fouls him. That'll send the freshman point guard from Pasadena to the line.
One thing Stanford's gotten also out of this tournament, though, guys like Cartwright, they've gotten quality minutes because of the foul trouble at times. And, you know, you get to go and play against a team of the caliber of Duke. That's going to give you confidence to play at this level, especially for a young player really getting his first quality minutes. in Division I basketball.
I figure Stanford's going to have to get more from their bench this year than last. They lost to White Powell and Josh Eustace. They had Randall. They had enough scoring there. But tonight, all but 4 points from the 5 starters for Stanford.
I mean, Cartwright, you watch the energy he's playing with, Greg. He is into this game. He is running all across the court.
He was my favorite player in the Stanford practice the other day, watching him in scrimmage. The way he was playing defense and frustrating his teammates in the particular drills. This guy's got a big motor.
He does.
That's a great line.
Impressive to watch Johnny Dawkins run his practice. I mean, everything was fluid. They had the jerseys of the other team, the numbers just to simulate game-type situations, great drills, great shooting drills. It tells a lot about a squad just to watch the way they practice, GA.
That's a great point, and they'll get better, obviously.
Okafor denies, and Cartwright for 3. No, Jones comes away with a rebound.
I tell you what, too, it's also been a great stretch there as Jones able to draw up out these 5 games in 9 days for this young Blue Devil team. You know, the fatigue you have to deal with it. How about the block there by the big fella? Just give me that.
Ooh. I mean, that's all ball. There's no way he just swallowed that one.
Massive hands. That does. Wow.
Tyus Jones, he and Okafor, a package deal to come to Duke. Played together on that U19 team for the United States. Defense has been great too. A lot of talk about Duke and their scoring power, but man, do they defend. And they have defended the line well as well. Temple just 2 for 12 from behind the arc.
And those are staggering numbers when you look at holding teams to 8%. But as impressed tonight because Stanford's a good shooting team. Temple, as we saw, they're not a real good shooting team. Michigan State, even right now, not a great perimeter shooting team. Stanford group, though, they've got some guys that can fill it up. So very impressed with the defense at the 3-point line tonight from Duke.
Randall almost throwing it away. Brown recovers, and he'll be fouled. They get Okafor on that foul, I believe. And we'll have a timeout on the floor. So Duke's starting to pull away here. They're looking strong in the early schedule. Okafor and the Blue Devils up 16.
I was hoping to be able to see you here at the Barclays, but hope you're here real soon. And keep getting better. I know you're fighting it like crazy, and the attitude you've displayed has been amazing for all those people who are fighting to beat this dreadful disease. Thanks for doing that.
Well, Coach K sending out a direct message to our own Craig Sager, who is continuing his fight. Craig's been in the headlines here this week, his first time appearing on camera, delivering the message for this Coaches versus Cancer Classic. We've been able to air that the last 2 nights. Great to see Craig back at his craft, and we're thinking about you, Craig, and certainly one of the reasons we're here, to watch great basketball and try to raise awareness and funds for cancer research.
And, you know, one thing about Craig Sager, and I'll use a sports analogy, he's one of the best teammates I've ever had. I mean, he is just a joy to be around, selfless in his approach, and just a great spirit. So, Craig, you know, we're all thinking about you and love you, man, and cannot wait to get back out there with you.
You're so right,
especially
Greg.
to go hang with him after.
When he was at his real best, right?
You just love him. I mean, he's attacked this situation, and obviously you see he's getting better. We're pulling for him, and you know, and obviously we've all been struck and touched by this deadly disease, and this Coaches versus Cancer Classic has just been phenomenal. The money they've raised for research, and hopefully one day to find a cure for this. And Greg, miss you, and can't wait to get back on the golf course. And
there you go.
And cheat me and keep getting wins.
Well, Coach K was instrumental in getting this entire program started, and not just in Division I, among Division I coaches, all through the collegiate level coaches, Division II, III, NAI levels, and it's been a huge success since the early 90s. Coach K was right there in the beginning. If Brown with the take to the left, and suddenly Stanford is within 11 after Duke had opened up their largest lead. Stanford was on a long drought. They went nearly 8 minutes without a field goal. Duke able to get the timeout. Cook got trapped. He was in no man's land, but able to get the timeout. And Duke will contain the possession here. Well, Duke coming up, you know, they play a great schedule as always. They've already beaten Michigan State, trying to take down Stanford here tonight. So they go back home for a couple, Furman and Army, and then that showdown at Wisconsin at the Kohl Center.
Think about all the firepower they returned from last season. I know you're doing the work with the Big Ten Network. You get a chance to see them up close and personal, as will I. That's going to be a heavyweight battle.
When you talk about for Okafor to get a chance to go up against a Kaminsky who can take him outside.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge.
And more than just at 17 feet, he can go out to that three-point line. He can put it on the floor, and he can score inside. And you have some guys in Decker.
That's going to be a matchup. Sam Decker, who's grown 2 inches, from what I'm told, going up against a guy like Winslow.
Suleiman on the breakaway, and a foul, and one for Rashid Suleiman, and that might be the dagger right there for the Stanford Cardinals. Yeah, they got the timeout. Duke draws one up, and Suleiman with the bucket and the foul. Wisconsin is playing Boise State tonight at home at the Kohl Center. Last time Duke went to Wisconsin, went to Madison, Wisconsin got the win. I believe that was back in 07 or 08 perhaps. But, that Big Ten ACC challenge, and that'll be fun to watch in early December. December 3rd, as a matter of fact. The ACC opener for Duke will be January 3rd. They'll have Boston College. Remember, Louisville is in the ACC this year. The reshaped ACC, Syracuse and Pitt. Great conference. Should be some fun this year. North Carolina's got another terrific team this season as well.
I'll tell you what, Robert Cartwright,
I love him
some minutes.
Oh,
he is getting after it on the defensive side.
Got hit with a foul, frustrating Quinn Cook. Walk us through the top 10, the AP top 10. Carolina won earlier today. Wisconsin leading currently. Kentucky at 4-0, and Duke a chance to go to 5-0 tonight.
And Arizona, boy, let me tell you, Sean Miller has done an unbelievable job out there with this recruiting, along with bringing that group together. Brandon Ashley's back. They got a freshman of their own in Stanley Johnson, who's as high, a higher flyer as you're going to see in the country. They are going to be a boatload in that Pac-12.
And I got to apologize for all broadcasters for not mentioning Virginia. Virginia, the ACC champs last year.
Tony Bennett's done a terrific job, and that's not an easy place to win, and he has come in and really resurrected that program.
Coach K brings Cook to the bench. Quinn Cook with 18 points tonight. Dished out 5 assists. He hit 4 threes. And Duke running away here against Stanford. Stanford is a very good team. As Humphrey gets loose for a dunk. Cartwright to Humphrey, the 2 freshmen hooking up.
Cartwright will get a lot of confidence from this stretch of minutes that he's played. Really gotten after it defensively, and that assist there off the penetration as well.
He's gave 100% effort. Yeah. Gee, I mean, he is working.
Winding it down here in the championship game. And a foul. Sanders fouls Suleiman. Now Stanford picked 5th this year. Feels like they're a little better team than 5th in the Pac-12. They finished 3rd last season. You know, Arizona is going to be tough to handle this year. Utah will be very good. What else you like in the Pac-12 this season?
I'll be interested. Oregon typically reloads well. Dan Altman does a great job there. You know, UCLA lost a lot of guys that I don't think they were planning on losing. Zach LaVine and also Jordan Adams. And so I'll be interested to see. Colorado should be strong as well. So Pac-12 has definitely regrouped the last couple years to become a force in college basketball.
Saw Okafor to the bench, 10 points, 12 rebounds, a double-double for him. Very slow first half scoring. At 8 of his 10 in the second half is Cartwright. Man, this guy loves to play, and he is fearless.
Look at him. Look at the effort. Still getting up.
Coming to get him,
picking up. And Johnny Dawkins is going to love that, and I'm loving watching him play.
Very fun to watch. Cartwright and Michael Humphrey, the two freshmen. Putting a ribbon on this one. Duke to go to 5-0, and now a Coaches versus Cancer Classic title. It's been a successful first 9 days for the Blue Devils. 5 wins. And the champion of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, Mike Krzyzewski and Johnny Dawkins. Their first matchup ever. Coach K against his former assistants goes to 19-1. He's tough to beat. Stanford back at it Tuesday at Maples Pavilion. They'll be taking on Delaware. And then they go back to Chicago to play DePaul. They got some big matchups with BYU on the road. They go to Austin to take on Texas. And they'll play UConn again. Remember, they beat UConn last year. And Duke headed home for a couple against Furman and Army. Well, Duke, impressive. Once again, 20-point win yesterday. And they put the pedal down against Stanford here tonight.
They did. I mean, give it a lot of credit to Stanford. They came out and played well, but they're just so talented, Duke, and so much size. Even for freshmen, the poise they played with, and just a talented freshman class. I'm impressed with Matt Jones, a guy who's just known for his defense and offensively scoring the basketball. Quinn Cook, a senior, and then also just the way they play defense, Greg. It's a treat to watch. And on the Stanford side, they have nothing to hang their head about. They came out and competed.
Yeah, I think everybody got something out of this tournament. You know, even though Temple struggled at times to score, I thought they really competed defensively, and they're going to get some firepower moving forward for Fran Dunphy. UNLV really impressed with how they bounced back after being demolished the night before. They showed a lot of character, that young group. Dave Rice has got something to build upon, and you talked about these two. I think Stanford's a tournament team, and I think Duke has proven to be a team that's going to have a great chance to maybe get a national championship or at least get back to the Final Four for Coach K.
All right, it's late November. We'll see you guys in March.
Yeah.
Got some NBA work in between that, but we'll see you guys in March, right? Got a trophy ceremony. We'll send it up to the guys from Bleacher Report after this as Duke wins it, the champions of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic.